Welcome back to the Billionaire Podcast, the biggest podcast. Now, y'all know we got people on the pod from all walks of life. Now, we got one of the big man in or on the political scene. That's Mr. Morland Wilson, right? Now, he's a member of parliament and also he's a businessman, right? He went through university, he held a couple or had a couple of businesses, and he's in politics right now, and he's fusing his business knowledge with politics, and he's like driving a lot of change in the community and providing a lot of opportunities for young people especially, right? So we find it very interesting sitting down with Mr. Morland Wilson today. He's going to guide us on a lot of stuff in terms of policies and how to actually get certain things done the correct way, and he's going to show us how he's actually helping his community. He's going to show us so many things that you guys are going to actually be able to benefit from. So watch the full podcast, the Billionaire Podcast. Be sure to get the merch. Go to the website, get the merch, and be sure to get funded at www.protradersfund.com. That's www.protradersfund.com. Sign up, get funded. Whether you're a stock trader or forex trader, you can get funded. Capital to manage, capital to trade on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to use your own funds. Just get funded, right? And be sure to join the Learn and Earn program so that you can actually learn how to trade the markets just as we are able to trade the markets on a day-to-day basis and make consistent profits. Join the Learn and Earn, get funded, watch the full podcast. Y'all know the vibe. Like, share, subscribe. Billionaire forever. Super blessed, super rich.
Welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Billionaire Podcast. And today we have a massive political figure and also a very prolific business person. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the established, the prestigious Morland Wilson today as our guest, guys.
Yeah, man. Big up.
Blessings, Morland. And
yes,
as we welcome you, we'd like to let you know that you are one of them that the guests have been asking for a while now. And we're here fulfilling their requests. So, you can just start and tell them who you are. Let them know who Morland Wilson is and what Morland Wilson does.
Yeah, so I'm Morland Wilson, Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Western. I am a newly elected MP, got voted in 2020, with that massive surge towards the Jamaica Labour Party. We totally wiped out Westmoreland for the Labour Party. We got, all 3 seats. This is something that has never been done in the past 30 years, so it's quite significant politically. It was equivalent to a volcano in political terms, and that ushered myself and 2 other MPs into Parliament. So I am now the proud sitting MP in the constituency of Westmoreland Western. With 36,000 going 38,000. Constituents. So it is something that is quite massive, and it's new, and it's refreshing for a lot of people. So I'm just here to implore and to share all the knowledge I can to all the youngsters out there.
Yes, and that is what we expect from you, Morland. As we know, you're a very prolific business person. You were managing director of Prestige Logistics once, right?
Yes, Prestige Logistics. That's the company that I started after I stopped my 9 to 5.
Oh, so you started that company?
Yes, 9 to 5 couldn't cut it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone out there will realize that at some point, it's good working experience.
Yeah.
It's good dealing with people, but you really want to accelerate your life and to challenge yourself, start a business. That is the only way to do it.
And it opens a whole different chapter of life for you.
Yes, it does. Business is my passion. I've always wanted to be in business. I can recall back in high school, I was, they always have these career days and they keep coming and saying, who want to be a lawyer, a doctor, coming from a rural community. Yeah. Those are the top jobs, who want to become a lawyer, a doctor, a bank manager. Yeah. And I was trapped in that narrative as well. And when I really reached out and went to the university and I said, how much a doctor actually get paid?
Yeah.
And then they said,
you were studying to be a doctor?
No, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
And they said, well, it's not about the pay. And then I said, all right, let's see. So what about a lawyer? And then I realized that that you have to select your own path, and business was more of an interest to me because you can use your creativity, be innovative, and come up with ideas and make some money. And while doing that, you can serve your community. So business would have been my line that I've chosen, which is away from the traditional, rural community narrative of you have to be a doctor or lawyer.
Yeah.
And a politician is never in that either.
Yeah.
those are considered lower down on the scale.
Yeah. So you know what I want to ask you? Thanks for starting the podcast
Yeah,
without
man, no
man.
problem,
Sorry for
man.
being here a little tardy, I would say. Is it tardy the word? A little late?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tardy. So my thing is I remember when I was in Trelawney, right? I was growing up. I went there with my grandma for a little while. I think it was like a year or so. My mom moved down there. And, Kingston life is different from country life, right? And there's not really a lot of inspiration in country at the time, especially back then. Now there's more inspiration here. But back then, there was no inspiration. Your granny house normally, they're way over one part. Right? So, my thing is, what really inspired you or, planted that seed in you to, decide, all right, I'm not going to be a farmer. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to university. Because I think my oldest brother was the first person to go to university in my family. Right? And that was influenced because he was living in Kingston. And Kingston has all the universities and all of the top schools and all of that, right? So what inspired you to take that certain path versus the path that 99% of your community would have taken at that time?
No, well, that's a very, very interesting question. In many regards, because when I was applying to go to the university, called all my friends and I said, because I'm a community guy, so I have a lot of friends. All of us go to school, we go to church, we
Play a football. He's a football
everything.
man.
Yes, man. We used to do everything together. We cook when summertime, like now, it's big cooking. But what really kind of pushed me was I wanted more.
Yeah.
It's hunger for more. I wanted more than just what we had. And when I said to them, guys, we needed more, and they were like, no, you want too much. I remember one of my friends said, guy, you just want too much. Just relax now, brother. You always depend this thing about university and go to school. So they were more of the view that we are all right. We are comfortable. And I kind of realized that, being a part of the group, I was a bit different. Because I was kind of pushing. I was saying, we need to have higher goals. We need to push out. And that inspiration came from just, natural stimulus around us. Back then we had MTV. It was hot.
Yeah, TV?
MTV
What?
was hot, and
My
BET.
granny never on the TV, that's why I'm kind of worried.
Right. Yeah, so possibly that could be it, because the influence of the media. But you saw these fantastic, lifestyle, and then you try to investigate how they became this, how they became that. Some
But
went
those
through
were mostly
education.
rappers though, like on MTV.
Yes,
it was mostly
there was,
rappers,
but
though.
there was businessmen
MTV
too.
Cribs.
So my thing is, why
They
were
were-
you influenced to be a rapper?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That there were artists, and I did went into music as well. I did try my hand at music.
What?
Yeah, I did production, of course.
Yeah, we can hear something.
No, I didn't say I was a singer. I said I tried producer, but that never worked out. That was one of my first business venture, but that didn't work quite well. And that was good learning experience. As I was saying earlier to someone that all the your personal path and journey through life will give you a lot of experience. You just have to be a good student and learn.
Yeah.
My venture into music, I spent a lot of money, save up my money going university. We have
So you were doing it while you were in university.
and go studio, meet artists and all that. But it just
Which
never
university
worked.
was that?
University of the West Indies.
University of the West Indies.
So
Okay,
So
meet artists. I know the connections can be there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to UA, there's so many
Yeah,
people going there, and
Yeah, man.
even when artists want to promote their songs, they would promote it.
they will
at
come
the-
on
Definitely,
campus and all of that.
Yeah.
So we went through the full gamut of trying the production thing. Just never worked. Just never made no money.
Just never made any money.
But it was good. I mean, music
They
is
made
something.
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good connections.
And then you would have had to have people's skills as well to
Of course.
do
of
that
course.
as well, right?
Music business is tough. Can't ask any artist.
Yes.
They will tell you it's rough, but it's good experience.
Yeah. So outside of that, now when you transition from the music, what did you do after that? Like, did I just focus on your studying or?
Yeah. I mean, I was a pretty above average student. So while I was at the university, I
Where
was
were you
lecturing. I
were
did
lecturing?
public. Yeah, I lectured a bit. I tutored.
Oh, you were a student tutor as well.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I tutored as well, and so I was pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a trick to university is to read all the books.
Yeah.
It's just read the books and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So you like, what were you studying though?
No, public sector management,
Public sector management. So that is like managing government and.
government and business.
Oh, so you were always a person who wanted to get into government.
Yes, definitely, and
Okay.
that's why I said that business was the pathway, and
Into
I've
government.
always wanted to be in part of representational politics. It was good. It was for me. It was all about serving the community and what you can do to uplift the community. There are certain things that avails to you when you are a public representative that you can't do in any other way.
Yeah.
You can come up with laws. You can help influence laws, contribute to
Yeah.
laws. Yeah, that's what politicians do.
Yeah.
It's not to
Feel
issue
like
out
we're the
welfare.
right person for the specific law. You know?
Yeah. You know that.
Yeah, it's what it's all about the laws.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where my interest, was piqued because you can make laws that affects everyone in a positive way. It can be a force for change.
Yeah.
So politics is definitely the way to go. Big business, you can do that through your corporate social responsibility, but the ultimate thing is to be a part of the legislation to help make these laws that help develop.
You got into politics in what, 2020?
No,
You
I've
got
been
elected in
I've got
2020,
elected in
2020 general election, right?
The sojourn was more of 15 years or something like
It's
that.
a journey of 15 years you've been doing it, right?
So you can't just hop in and
So I can just say, for instance, Khalil wanted to be a member of parliament for like Kingston. That's how it goes. It goes.
Yeah,
A member of parliament for Kingston, St Andrew. Him can just go and be like, I want to be a member of parliament.
Well, it's not like a job. It is a job, but it's not like the traditional job where you just apply, just pass the interview. Your interview is the votes.
The votes.
Yeah, people have to vote for you.
So you have to build a platform where people know who you are, know what you stand for,
Correct.
and stuff like that to get the votes.
Correct. So you have to build a platform. You have to know what your manifesto is about, what you plan to do, what you want to do, and the people have to believe that you are the agent of change, and they can relate to you, and you can relate to them. So it's not something you're just applying and get through, because you're going to have people who are saying no, and then you have people who are saying yes.
Yeah.
The idea is to get more yes than no's.
So what was that journey for you like?
Very interesting. It is. I think politics is the most fantastic thing ever. You learn about people. You learn about yourself.
That's
You
how
learn
extremely
about
good people skills.
you learn about everything and everyone and how things operate and how society operates and how people look at things, good and bad, and how people interpret things, good and bad. So it's a very interesting, and I will say this, that you learn every day,
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
So-
you should definitely sign up for the Labour Party.
So what we want to ask you though, right? What made you decide which party you wanted to go? Is it that like what made you let me not ask any follow up. Let me just ask you that specific. I don't want to put anything in your head. Which
Yeah.
I don't think I can. Right? But what made you decide to like the party that you're going to work with? Like what was
Good
the deciding
question.
factor?
Yeah. What influenced the decision?
I mean, it was based on my own personal philosophy about how society should be structured and operated. And I believe that fundamentally, this is me now, I fundamentally believe that anyone, anywhere in this country, once they apply hard work, their brain, their ingenuity, their innovation, creativity, should be able to achieve the greatest spot in this country.
Yeah.
So I believe if you Khalil want to become a businessman, whether it's in merchandising or in services, you can apply yourself and become that individual. Now, that is closely akin to what the Labour Party stand for. They stand for a more conservative approach, and they focus most predominantly on how you can support businesses and who owns the assets of production. That's land, labor, capital. So for the basic philosophy of the party, and I'm not speaking for the party, I'm just speaking in general, is that we believe that businesses should be allowed to operate within the economy, and then they would provide employment. Now, the opposition side, they believe that all factors of production should be owned by the state. So that means, typical example, the government should own JPS, NWC, and all other factors of production. That is, it's coming from socialism, communism standpoint. I don't believe in that, because that would basically mean that it doesn't matter how creative you are, how hard you work, everyone is going to be treated as one. So you would not have your personality or your idea of achieving, self-actualizing will not be accomplished. So Labour Party was natural. It is the party that I chose, and as I said, it's my fundamental and core principle that this is the party that would be best to lead the country. And as you're seeing now, we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. So you're saying that JLP is about innovation.
It's about innovation, supporting businesses, allowing creativity. It's about creating that space that allows individuals to self-actualize. So it doesn't matter what you want, because there are a lot of youths out there now that have ideas that we have not come up with yet, and they want the opportunity to access the capital, to go to market, to do their pilot, do their beta, get out there and get their customer base going. And that is what our economy is about. And in fact, that is what the major economies are about, because they provide that space for youngsters and for innovation to grow and to flourish.
Yeah. So how exactly do you guys provide the space? Because a lot of young youths would be like, and I've heard it, on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, or in person, that a lot of youths are innovative here. They have great ideas, but it's so difficult, especially coming from inner city communities, to reach people in certain positions to, for example, a policy change. So they're saying so difficult, and only people at the top have access to those people at the top to influence those changes. So they're saying that them being in the inner city, they might have the best idea. They might be able to build a car from scratch, similar to the African video that I was seeing on Instagram, where the African kid build a car from scratch. They might be able to do that, or they might have some amazing AI-driven software, or some international type of idea that they want to bring to the local market, but they don't have access to the people at the top. How do they get access to those people and actually have their voice heard?
Yeah, a very good question. And I think it's the challenge of how to bring your product to market, from idea to actual product and deliver to customer. There are several things that the government can do, and you have to understand that there are limitations to what the government can do as well. Like, for example, within the area you speak of technology, the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology has several programs that focuses on technology. They have a coding program that is currently going on. They also have other programs that focuses on animation. All of these are structured for youngsters who have ideas and who want to work and get training in these field. There was, not so long ago, a program called
Kingston
Kingston. That was a program that focused
or
on
Kids Tune.
animation,
I
right?
remember that. I remember that.
Right. So over time, you have had several initiatives that is aimed at developing somewhat of an incubator for persons who are interested in technology. And there is one going on now as we speak in the Ministry of Science, Energy, and Technology.
And that one is about?
That one focuses on coding, and it's with Amber. So you have several programs going on. However, I think if you are looking for, the government to take your idea, turn it into a product, and bring it to market, that's not realistic. That is not how the market operates. As a young entrepreneur out there with an idea, very good idea, you have to use your network, your skill, your talent, your creativity, whatever savings you have, personal or otherwise. Yes, and they call it bootstrap. Just search bootstrap. You have to bootstrap. And once you bootstrap, you have to prove that your product is something that the market wants, right? And once you have that proof of concept and you find that you're attracting customers, rest assured you will be in a position where you can leverage capital to expand and grow. But bootstrapping is possibly the absolute best way of doing anything. And the reason why I say that, if you had significant capital, and this is why you have a lot of big businesses that have failures. They have significant capital, they come up with an idea and they throw millions at it, and it fails.
Yeah.
All those millions go
But the
down the
market
drain.
never wanted it.
Market never wanted. If they had bootstrap, which means they use the absolute bare minimum to do this new product and put it to market. If it works, then you invest more. If it doesn't work, then you would not have lost a significant amount of venture capital.
I never
Makes
asked
sense.
him which part of politics him focus on, but my finger says the business side.
Yeah.
Is it focus on the business side?
No, I'm good at business because I'm an
Yeah,
entrepreneur.
business, yeah. Entrepreneur turned politician. Yeah.
But I am in terms of politics, in terms of focus, it's really people. It's not
People.
really an area.
When you say you focus on people, what do you mean exactly?
Because let's use my constituency. I have some 4,000 students, and that grows, that change every year.
Which age group, by the way?
Which
Which age group?
no, right across from primary up to
High school?
up to high school.
We actually want to do a sponsorship. Before, not to cut you, we actually want to do a sponsorship for the podcast, and we have a software company as well that would want to do some type of sponsorship. So if you can actually help us out with that, that would be good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you can with all 4,000.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's see how that works,
Yeah, we can
because
work
it's
with like
primary to secondary. So, and
It's good
each
to
year
catch
they
them from them
graduate.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. Let's talk.
We talk
I'm
about it.
open.
But you can continue.
Right. So, just to speak specifically about my constituency, you have some 4,000, 5,000 students, depending on which year you look at the registration. You have, roughly 3,000, 4,000 farmers. You will have businessmen, pastors, nurses, doctors. So, and all of these persons, you are their representative. So we cannot solely focus on the businessman. We cannot solely focus on the farmers. We can't just focus on the student.
The people, and then you find out the needs of the people.
So you find out the needs of the people. As a representative, you represent their ideas.
Yeah.
It's a democracy. So, you will at every given point try to support persons through their different journeys.
Yeah.
And education is a big one for a lot of parents and youth. So you try to support students, through their educational journey, through university and into a career. So I don't necessarily focus on one particular area in politics.
You know what I would love, especially like speaking on the sponsorship that we're talking about and just helping out the community more. I would love, because just as you spoke about education a while ago, right? and you said you focus on, there's a lot of people that might be struggling with tuition to go to school, or and a lot of people will find a way, like work, get sponsorship and all of that to go to school, and then by the end of their tenure, university and all of that, they decide this is not what I really wanted. I just did this because it was the only thing I had to do at the time, because I was being sponsored and my sponsorships, I only have to study this, or I can only do that, right? Which is usually the case, right? In terms of like setting up, in terms of helping a student decide the best career choice to actually take, or having them be more, I'm trying to find the word, like it's like flexible, because normally society tell you
Be this or be that.
this or be that, like be a lawyer, be a doctor. We spoke about it earlier, right?
Yeah. Understand what you're saying.
So what do you guys do to actually help guide the students in terms of selecting the right career path for the future, so that they can help the community also?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at that question from many angles. We can look at it from an MP perspective or from a government perspective. Within the scope of government, all the schools have, career. They have career days. As early as primary school, they get the students exposed to different career lines and to see which would pique their interest more. At the high school level, there's a similar thing that happens. So throughout the educational system, you have different opportunities for our youngsters to be exposed to career field, and for them to, make some decision. And again, it's a bit complex because parents too determine what they want their child to become.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
I want to catch the parent them from them yard,
Yeah.
right?
but there's it's a much bigger conversation about civil liberties. What do you tell a parent? And can you tell a parent what their child to become? It becomes a bit tricky. So
As in there's a law that says that
no,
you
there's
cannot-
no law. That's what I'm saying. There is no law that says you can't tell your parent what their child to become. So the parent has some decision-making power there and influences to what decision the child makes. The school has a little as well. And for children who are seeking career advice, some will look to the internet, some will look
Some don't
to
have
their
the
MP.
internet. That's the thing.
And for that, we have the Universal Access Program, which is putting community Wi-Fi. So so free internet in my area, we have got 3 areas already, 3 urban centers.
Free internet.
Free internet, absolutely free, 24 hours.
And the government pays for that.
The government pays for that.
Perfect. I love that.
That's good.
I love that. Internet access. I remember when I was studying for like my exams, I never had internet at the house that I was living in. And what I used to do is I used to go up by the church, and I used to like sneak into the community center and be there late night studying for my exams and stuff. And I remember one day, a member of the church saw me over there studying, because they opened the door and saw me over there studying and tell me I have to come out and go my yard. That was
Sad.
crazy.
That's right.
And I was living in one of the roughest communities that most people is either them go do something illegal for the fair living, And I was at a tender age studying to do CSEC, studying to do CSEC, and I never know it. I never where I was living. There was so much noise in the yard and the house, and there's no peace, and there was no light sometimes, right? Yeah. Sometimes like it's like a candle off a light and them thing there. And then, the community center is there. I could have got there and do that. So to know that you guys have free Wi-Fi for the community,
That's good,
that's
man.
amazing. So you guys have like community centers and stuff like that. You set
Right.
up?
So you pick urban centers that most people will traverse through, or where students will hang out, and you provide free Wi-Fi. And we are living in a very open world now. Everyone is connected. Everyone is on the internet consistently streaming. So for that reason, in order for us to accelerate our society and to let our people be more open to technologies and to different ways and methods of doing things. The internet is very crucial in connecting everyone together. So the government has made a tremendous step in providing Wi-Fi across the constituencies. I think we have gone 180, almost 200 Wi-Fi hotspots, and we have another 200 coming in. So in all urban centers, you will be seeing internet access, which is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, and the speed is good as well.
The speed is good. So for career advice, which we are talking about, there is opportunity for youngsters to learn and to get advice from different areas and different persons. But ultimately, they will have to determine what they want to be, because the university is littered.
Yeah.
Our target the parents.
And tell them, stop telling you them waffle big.
Yeah, and then for the parents, you have to understand they want their child to be, they want to be proud of their child. So they are pushing their child in a direction, but the child may have their own ideas.
But I don't like, you say regarding that parent thing, like I feel like our parents, Star even said it on the pod that we did with her. She said our parents taught us or did to us the best they could. Right?
But it doesn't mean they know best.
But it doesn't mean they know best.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So a lot of parents will tell you, oh, go and be a lawyer or a doctor or a police or this or that, right? There's a situation right now. I'm not saying people can't go and be doctors or lawyers, right? But there's a situation right now where doctors are always complaining about pay, right? Their salaries and their work.
They shouldn't be complaining so much anymore still.
They shouldn't because you guys
because they got a nice juicy bump in salaries. But
they got a juicy bump, but remember inflation is there as well. So there's the scalability of it. Is not
as vast.
It's not as vast as you would have wanted to be, especially with.
It's not perfect. No one is saying it's perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
It is a step in the right direction.
That's what I'm saying. And as the economy and the global economy, we, as I said, we are very open, and things that happen, externally does affect us. Inflation externally affects us, and the great challenge of governance is how do you manage those external shocks? Whether it's a hurricane or a war or an economic crisis, all of these things affects us because of our balance of trade and how we interact with the world and how we actually traverse.
Yeah.
So it's while we are doing great as a nation and we are managing everything quite well with our debt reduction, etc. We are still, there are some exposures that are just there. Some risks that are there that we cannot do anything about it. Two countries that are go at it in conflict, causes a decline in fertilizer supply or in chemical supply or fuel supply will affect us. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the policy that the local government will have, whether my party or another party. It's just the reality of how the economies are structured in a global environment.
Yeah. I feel like you're in the perfect position being a businessman and a politician. Why? There are so many ways nowadays that individuals can make money on the internet. And with you setting up all of those free Wi-Fi locations within your constituency,
they have more access to it.
They have more access to information, but it's a situation where most people would not know what to access it for. So people just go on TikTok, for example, TikTok, just to go and learn how to do a dance or to watch a live of somebody, and just the traditional mix-up type of stuff, which most parents are into, because most parents only use social media for mix-up, right? It's true. So, like, what are you doing to totally teach the youths
You
in
have
the
to have a
community?
disclaimer about that one,
There's a disclaimer. I want the disclaimer.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so what are you doing to totally guide the youths in terms of the proper ways to utilize the internet you're providing to them so that they can be of some type of value to the community versus versus misusing it?
Yeah, internet literacy is something that the schools, several schools are teaching that now. They have IT courses that they will teach persons about, how to use the internet, safe use, etc. It's something that would have to look at as a national policy because again, while you can impart certain knowledge, a person is still left up to their own judgment in terms of knowing how to use the internet. I think what we all want, being good citizens, is that we would want them to use the internet to learn some new skill and to engage society. The reality is that the internet has everything.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the
Amazing
indifferent.
things.
Right. So
true.
so persons will gravitate towards what they are more keen to. And you find that it creates communities that would not normally exist. So, if you have some niche group, for example, persons who like 1980 BMWs, there is a group for that on the internet, right? Traditionally, if there was no internet, because that will be probably a very specific group of people. Just 1980 alone, no other year. That will be very specific. You will find probably across the 8 billion people in the world, probably a million or two. But if you're thinking about just Jamaica, probably there's one or two persons who are interested in that area. So it would not be a big enough conglomerate of people to become a viable group. But when you put it across the internet, it becomes something else because you have persons right across the globe who can participate in that area. So the internet does provide a lot of opportunities for things that would not really be realistic to become a reality, but it also provides opportunity for those who want to use it for work, do work, to make money. I hear people saying they want to become YouTubers. And when
that's what I was going to go into.
when I was growing up, YouTube was just to watch music videos and you see big disclaimer, this music is copyright and stuff. Now you have people who are monetizing their videos. And it has somewhat changed the landscape of how messages are delivered to people. The traditional media is no longer the dominant, superpower that they were. Social media has
the news first.
Yes, it is, but then the risk of fake news has become. So traditional media does have its space because the general ethos out there is that traditional media will do their fact checking.
But
Should, and I'm going to emphasize should their fact
I'm
checking.
going to say in Matrix.
Yes. Yes.
So that is the general idea there.
Yeah.
But the relevance of social media is undeniable.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you mentioned YouTube being monetized right now. And you mentioned YouTube. Instagram allows monetization. TikTok allows monetization. Twitter allows monetization among multiple other platforms. Rumble, all of those different platforms, right? And it's a situation back to policy changes now. It's a situation where a lot of banks in Jamaica don't, because people have said it to me, where the bank is not accepting payments from these platforms.
True.
And for example, people who have like renting houses, or say for instance somebody wants to buy a house and somebody put on it that their source of income is social media marketing or YouTube or Forex, right? Or if it's a stock trader, they might
understand
it, or they might accept it, right? But in general, most of these online ways of making money, everything is
non-traditional,
non-traditional ways, are getting a fight by the banks and businesses as well. Especially like landlords, when people want to, imagine a young person, Khalil, want to rent somewhere, and Khalil tell them that he's a YouTuber, because we're doing the Billionaire Podcast. He might be making $1 million a month, but they might not want to accept it because there's no way you can be making that amount from YouTubing or podcasting or whatever, right?
No, in their heads.
In their heads, right? So how do you address this? How would you address this situation so that young people can actually start taking more advantage of these different online ways of making money without so much drawbacks from the institutions, or the difficulty that comes with banking, and also the difficulty that comes with just doing business on a whole as a young person?
Yeah, well, very good question. The doing business ranking, Jamaica has been doing tremendously well. We have seen where over the past few years we have moved up the scale, which means that it's easier to do business in Jamaica. I think in COVID, we have some like 40,000 new businesses register during that 2-year period, which is significant. It means that our entrepreneurial spirit is vibrant.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the challenge that you have when you speak about YouTubers, it's a challenge that is not new. And it's a challenge that I think across the world that very few countries would have solved that issue. What you have is really innovation, right? A YouTuber being juxtaposed against a traditional banking system which moves slower. The bankers, as you look at it, is persons, and if you look at the structure of the banks, persons who are running these banks, they're generally born in the 70s or 60s, which is a completely 2, 3, 4 generations back. And the way they have seen things and the way they interpret the reality and the world around them is quite different from us, from our generation
Things have
X.
changed.
Right.
Some
So,
things they don't understand.
and because they don't understand it, they reject it, and they're gonna say, what's wrong with our traditional way of making money. But they have not really embraced the level of innovation. Innovation is something that happens every day, and it's the slowness or the pace at which they adapt or absorb this into their official policies and processes, which is a bit slow. So there is that challenge, and I think it's something that we have to continually work on. It's not something we can solve, because while we speak about YouTubers, possibly we could look at AI generated, content, and they're going to say, hold on, I just get used to this YouTuber thing. Yeah, come tell me now, say AI I make your money, so so it's something that, as I said, innovation, and it's something that has happened in many societies. It's not unique to Jamaica. What we have to do though is to work with the Ministry of Finance, which regulates the bank.
So you work directly with them?
No, well, yes and no. I'm a lawmaker, so.
You're a lawmaker.
So
we have like 3 laws we want you to be.
Neither with them.
Just 3. We're not gonna go the full amount.
We have to review those, right? But with the Ministry of Finance, they themselves they're the one who regulates the banks, so they have to make some decision as to how they engage and what's happening in the society and the economy. But the central bank is now an independent central bank, so they have a little more autonomy.
It wasn't independent before?
No, it was controlled centrally through the finance. But it was a big thing in the media about it.
No, wait. The central bank is now controlled by who?
It's independent, so it's not controlled anymore.
No, who was controlling it before?
It was the government who would have dictated its policies.
Because I saw in the media something about is it FSC? No, not FSC. FSC? Financial Service Commission.
It was some related. But
Yeah, FSC is the.
Yeah.
I thought like the central bank was controlling FSC.
Yeah, they do control FSC.
But FSC was independent before. And
Yes, but the central bank now is independent.
okay.
The bank itself.
Okay.
So it's a new direction in our financial history, and it has a lot of possibilities, very good possibilities.
What are the pros and the cons?
You'll have to call the Ministry of Finance to come in and explain all of that. You're getting a lot into the details of it, but in general, it allows the just say, as a cap sentence, it allows the BOJ to look at what's happening in the market and to intervene without direct influence from the Ministry
government.
of Finance. or well, slash government. So it gives them some level of autonomy. However, they still have to report to Parliament. You know, they have to report, as we said, about inflation, what their inflation targets are, whether they missed it, whether they obtained it, why they missed it, why they obtained it. So they're still held to an account. And we had our first meeting, I think it was earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Well, you know, our financial year starts March, but so it will be last year. We had our first meeting with the BOJ.
That's a government at the meeting with the BOJ.
Yeah, well, the Parliament,
Parliament at the meeting
right?
with the...
And that gives an opportunity for them to dictate, well, not dictate, but really to explain what happens and to explain exactly what the inflation targets are, why we missed it, why we obtained it, because inflation is a concern to everyone, as you said earlier.
What I want to dive into, like, how far you plan to take your political career?
I mean, it's determined by the people. Really, the people have to determine how long they want to keep me there.
Yeah.
And
In the same position, or is it
Yeah,
that
because
you're
what
going
if
to
what
change
if the people
position?
want to see you as more than a member of parliament?
That's a good question. The people can determine whether you're a member of parliament or not. To become, you know, a minister, a state minister, that is the sole discretion of the prime minister. So they would have to talk to the prime minister.
Also, the prime minister has control of making you anything more than a member of parliament.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So how many members of parliament are there versus state members?
You have 63 members of parliament.
And then state members?
Well, it depends if you're looking at state ministers or you're looking at ministers.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
A minister really sits in cabinet. Cabinet is where they consult about direction of the
A
country.
minister, that's a state minister.
That's a minister. Then a state minister is somewhat of a junior minister, if you want to look at it like that, just to make it quite understandable. And that person would not sit in cabinet, but they would, of course, be a part of the ministry and support the minister in taking care of a particular portfolio in that ministry. So ministers can come. It's appointed by the prime minister, but ministers can come either from an elected representative like myself or from the Senate. The Senate is appointed, MPs are elected, and ministers can come from anyone, and state ministers can come from any one of those.
So it's a situation where, like, multiple people run for the same position, or is it just
Yes.
one from each party?
It can be, in theory, it can be any number of persons who run.
So if 100 people want to run right now, they can just run, and who the people and vote for?
Is who the people can vote for. In theory, yes, that is possible. And they are called independent candidates.
Yeah.
But we have two major political parties, the JLP and the PNP. And for that reason, you have most persons representing the JLP and the PNP.
I have two questions, but one of them is you remember back in, I think it was in COVID time. I want to know if anyone can run for like political seats, because you remember when they were doing the election, and there was this, I don't think it was a meme, I think it was actually real, where the brother man did run and
there's
people
a
did
guy.
actually vote for him.
Yeah,
How does that
the
work?
rich guy from Manchester, I think it's Mandeville.
Yeah, one of them places there.
She's Chinese.
Yeah, light, him have long hair and him light skin.
Okay, yeah.
He never
Him never win.
Out.
But the fact that he was in it is what gets me. Like, how do you go about being...
You just, on the election, it's a democratic process. So on the representation of the people Act, Europa, allows individuals, you know, who are interested in representing their constituency or their council, because you can have it at the council level, to apply, to be nominated on nomination day. Nominations are open. So whenever an election is called, or whenever the prime minister dissolve, give the indication for the GG to dissolve parliament, you can get persons to nominate you to run for a MP or a councillor.
Oh, so really you just have to get nominated.
So you get nominated on the day of nomination.
Okay, so just tell, like, say for instance, we can tell, say for instance, I want Khalil to be MP for like Kingston.
Do you guys want to see that? You can make it happen.
So all you'd have to do on election day, just go there and have a bunch
If you
of
want to
people
run, if you want to run as an independent, as I said, that's an independent.
What's the difference
candidacy.
between an independent would not be a part of any party?
Correct, would not be a part of any party.
The
So-
billionaires party.
No, but
So-
the thing about that is like it would have been like a lone soldier. So
Yeah.
all the cards are already stacked against him.
Well, I mean,
Versus
in the
being attached
past,
to a party.
you have had independent candidates who have won in the past. I think
No,
in
but
the
winning
80s.
is one thing, but it's like it's like two man control the country, and then you as an independent man decide you're gonna run and do your own thing.
Yeah,
It's still within the power of the two big man.
Yes and no. Once the people vote for you, you are an elected representative.
So I
which
can
means-
independently go and apply for, like, for example, prime minister.
No, that's what I kind of explain. So you have to be a part of the party. You have to be a part of the party. So you can apply for membership.
Yeah.
Apply for membership for the Labour Party. They will submit it to the relevant
What's the
committees.
membership process like?
That's what I'm explaining. You apply for a member. It will be sent to the relevant committees for review. Because there are people who apply that are not fit and proper to be a member of the party for whatever reason. Some are radicals, for example, that want all sorts of crazy stuff to happen in this world and doesn't align with the philosophy and what the party stands for. So you have to apply. Once you apply and you see it to be fit and proper, you'll be accepted. And then once you're accepted, you of course, familiarize yourself with the constitution of the party, and you learn how governance work, and then you can apply to be a representative if you so choose and wish to become a representative.
Yeah.
Because you can be a member of the party and not go for representation. There are many other areas that require a person and that require interests and young minds to grow and develop.
I like the business and the technology part of stuff. I don't necessarily need to like be a party member or none of that. I just want to be able to
Have an input.
have
Have a valid voice.
as a young individual, so that I can help guide the country's direction in terms of the future, right? Especially like they're doing this NID thing. You guys doing this NID thing, right? Where
I mean, NIDs, NID,
NIDs,
national ID. Yeah.
national IDs, right? You guys doing this national IDs thing, and I see so much possibilities for that, especially like the verification process with banks and businesses and stuff like that. It's kind of tedious here versus international standard. And I'm really glad you guys doing that NIDS thing, right? Because that's a great step in terms of improvement. And I feel like I have some inputs I could give you guys to make it a little. I don't know what exactly you guys doing, but I feel like I have some ideas, and the audience have some ideas to make it a little more user friendly, a little more.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you look on it even as like from a business standpoint, the people that are using it would be a good source of feedback on how to improve it.
Yeah.
So Chavez saying he would have the input or the viewers would have the input is very valid because we go through the process more normally than we go through the process. We go through the process, so we
frustration of
know the
many
frustrations.
processes.
We know how hard is it to get this signed by him, and then have to do this and this and this. And we know how much easier it could be if we just had to do this here and this here.
And then also, the centralization of information, right? And just access overall. Because I don't see how a person with a low income individual that probably have them lost and them so they want to go and get a job, they have to go and do, like, for example, an ID here, and then they have to go to a next part of the country to do something else. And then when they reach, they're telling them, oh, you need to do something else somewhere else. And they're just trying to get a job so that they can make
Yeah.
money.
And then by them have them last and use it for travel the whole country.
It's travel,
Them last done.
Them motivation is lost overall, right? You know. So my thing is, how can we centralize the? My thing is, I would like to add, for you guys to actually centralize the information process and just bring more things online, more of those
Yeah,
applications
facts.
online, so everybody can
Online.
just go on. If they want to do our ID renewal, if they want to get their birth paper information and all of that, they can just go ahead and do that. So those are my things.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fundamentally what this is about.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really the purpose of it.
That's the purpose I need right now.
yeah.
All right. So
Okay,
so basically they
So-
they read our minds. Okay.
I
We
was-
read our minds then.
Yeah, because I was just going to add that that this government is focusing directly on reducing the transaction costs between the government and citizens. Needs underpin our ambitions of doing that. Because when you have a needs system, you are able to clearly identify persons across Jamaica, and it makes their interaction with the banks, with government, significantly easier. And by making it easier and more efficient, it reduces the cost.
Yeah.
Efficiency is cost.
Yeah.
And it improves your productivity. So opening a bank account will be significantly easier once we have needs and the process is fully implemented.
Yeah.
And I think all that you have said just now are just some of the aims of needs, and to show you how decisive and transformational the Prime Minister is. Recently, he appointed Dr. Morris, who is the head of, I think it's called the Portfolio's Digital Transformation for the country. So she's looking overall at the policies and the actual architecture of how government relates to government. So we're not just talking now about government and B2B, we're talking government to government now, internally, because we have had a lot of what we'll call difficulties with one arm of government speaking in another arm, with TAJ speaking with the police, or the police speaking with the Ministry of Labor, and vice versa. So there is a direct and focused attempt at reducing the transaction costs across government, and to, of course, make government more accessible, as I said, to citizens. And with needs coming on, that will be the underlying system that will support this form of innovation. So everything else that we'll be looking at, across government and how government delivers its services, we can track it through needs.
Yeah.
So needs is very, very key.
Perfect. What I'm looking forward from you? I'm looking forward to seeing you at the highest level of government. That's one, because you are based on just the conversation we're having with him and just body language.
Yeah, his ideals are good.
Yeah, I like how you explain the different things that we're actually talking about. That is one.
Yeah.
Two, I like the fact that you kind of mix business with government, right? Because
Well, government is business.
it is, but I don't feel like all member of parliament understand that, and how to actually the younger persons can
Yeah.
actually, because I remember the
Because
young
he
people-
understands that things are moving away from more traditional.
Yeah, things are moving.
It's moving, but it's slow because there are persons who are not. And what change? Let's look at change generally. I know you guys read books. When change comes, there is a set of people who have benefited from the current system. They're not interested in change
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
We're done rich. We're done make with money, right?
Yeah.
We're not interested in any change.
Yeah.
You get away with that. Persons who are new and innovative are not concerned so much about the wealth that may be occurred. Some may are, some aren't, as to a degree. Are more interested in having the system being less hassling, looking at efficiency, looking at new ways of doing it. Those proponents of change are loving it, and you have these two camps for change. So while you have persons saying we have to push for this to happen, You know, we have to let the bank start to acknowledge YouTubers and
For
let them acknowledge
traders and
forex traders and
yeah.
new ways of making money. People who hedge money on different things. They're saying, "Hey, listen, we have been doing business for centuries,
Yeah.
right? that has never shown up on our radar.
Yeah.
And your business, you know, while it is in its incubacy, is not as valuable as a manufacturing sector or as a servicing sector or, you know, construction industry, which are traditional businesses which, you know, for the foreseeable future isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? We're always going to need manufactured goods. So with that type of thinking, the leadership becomes important, because if you have persons who are more leaning towards the traditional notion, which nothing is wrong with that, you'll find that they are not as open to the new type of emerging, you know, career paths that are out there. And, you know, even career, as you mentioned earlier, what the children and the youngsters have to do is just ensure they build their core competencies, because, you know, what you learn at the university is not necessarily what you're going to be doing when you get out there in the working world.
Yeah.
But university is all about discipline, right? And that's why I said, which discipline are you in? It's about the discipline of getting up, doing what you have to do, applying yourself, using your innovation, creativity, your network, and to ensure that you achieve success. You know, you become a winner, as John Rawls would have said. You just keep winning, right? So you with this form of state of the economy, we just have to ensure that we have a very good balance, because you don't want to alienate those who have built an economy that we are on, that we are all living on now. But we still have to embrace our youngsters who are looking to come on to new platforms like YouTube,
Yeah.
because there are going to be new platforms. You know,
There are
TikTok
many
before
more.
COVID, TikTok was like. I know TikTok is raging.
Yeah.
So it's something that we have to ensure that we don't alienate persons in going whichever path we choose.
What I want to do with it, especially I want to like, I want to be. You say you have 4,000 people in your constituency.
Yeah.
What you want?
No, not 4,000 people, like children.
4,000 students.
School age.
School age.
students.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm glad you specified. No, what we want to do.
We have 38,000 people on the
don't
registered
mind, the more
voters
the
list.
merrier.
On the voters list.
Oh, on the voters list.
But you may have more because you have people there who
no
don't
vote,
vote, right?
yeah.
So,
I see Jamaica. I love Jamaica, right? And I see Jamaica as this. People love our culture, right? So imagine us, you know, because what I want to do, I want to, just like how we're using the Billionaire Podcast right now, to educate people on how different ways to actually make money and what different people are doing. And for example, we have you on to discuss like just your journey as a business person, as a politician, right? We want to show people that there are different ways to actually do things and become successful. They're very successful. Now, what we'd love to do is get in the communities and start teaching financial literacy and those same things that we're talking about in terms of like internet literacy, not just about how to use the platforms, but how they can actually start monetizing and making money so that they can help out mommy with the dinner or breakfast and send their self to school and other people to school and stuff like that. Those are the things that I want to actually get involved in. You know, I don't know if we could set something up, or I'm looking forward to doing that, and I'm just putting that to you right now. You know,
yeah, it's something we can definitely explore.
Yeah.
I mean, we have career days for the schools. You know, we could look at a model where you could be a part of the entities that come in for career day to speak to the students. So there are possibilities, and it's something that I'm open to.
Yeah.
I have always been very keen on pushing innovation within my constituency. Right now, I'm looking at drone and drone technology. I'm trying to get a program set up where we can train youngsters how to fly drones.
yeah,
I have quite a number of friends who are quite innovative, and they are drone pilots. So the idea is to train some of our youngsters how to fly drones, because the way I see it, especially in a rural area like Westmoreland, drone is going to become huge. Well, it's going to be huge anyway, you take it, but I see its applicability, especially around farming, surveillance, and around even generally just for recreation and to capture, YouTube videos. So YouTubers can get their drone to do a
Vlog.
first person, what do you call it, FPV.
Yeah.
They can do some FPV videos in whatever career area they're in. So it's something that I see as our next frontier, for probably for the next 3-4 years until the industry matures, and then there are people who offer the service, because even right now, you have entities looking at providing drone surveillance for farms. So instead of have your security guards going out there with guns, they have drones that patrol the skies and they do the dispatching, etc. So the economy is evolving. What we have to do is to create the space as politicians and policymakers, so people can truly grasp these opportunities with both hands. And they are there.
Yeah.
They're there.
So what can the viewers expect from you on the, just overall? What can they expect from you over the next year, month, 5 years or so?
Well, as a new MP, you're going to expect that I'm going to be working as I've always been working.
Yeah.
Discipline and consistency is important. So we're going to continue to deliver on, the manifesto that I've written, road, water opportunities, support for small businesses, supporting our sports culture as well. Those are the key pillars that I've campaigned on. And I will continue to work on those areas.
It's good that you mention it, because the thing is, I love the fact that you mentioned it, because that shows that you're thinking about it. And from you thinking about it, you're a businessman, so you know action. That's what I like most.
You get it done.
Business requires a certain level of discipline in terms of getting things done. So even if you don't want to get it done, you're
going
to get it done.
right? So that, but there's a meme. I don't know if you watch, like, you use social media, but there's a meme that says when politicians get in office, they tend to just forget about everything.
Yeah, they're a bit mean to politicians, but it's a part of the course. Shouldn't be, but but you have a lot of people who are not very very kind to politicians for whatever reason. And a lot of people take their frustrations out on politicians. They have absolutely nothing to do with. So that's why I said earlier that it's a behavioral science and a social dynamic, because somebody cannot send their kids to school, them call the MP and cuss him out.
Yeah.
They can't afford, because they have to lay the blame somewhere, and your MP is the first place to lay the blame.
Yeah.
They don't have any water. They call and they cuss you out, so they don't have no water. And they need you to get them water.
Yeah.
So the expectation is not for you to make laws, but to give them basic services.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just because based on the conversation that we're having, it's layers to it. So it's not just you. So they might be complaining to you, but then you have to deal with probably 5 other people which are causing
you have to deal with the agencies. So for water, it's NWC. And so when they call their MP cussing about water, we have to call NWC and say, hey, listen, what's going on with the water?
Yeah.
But really and truly, NWC is a part of government.
Yeah.
And whenever they fell down or they would have any challenge, some of these challenges are unforeseen. A pump burn up, power go out. Then the MP get blame, and then NWC come under pressure.
Yeah.
So we have to work as a unit and as a body, and that is why this digitization and this reduction of this difficulty in
communicating,
in dealing with government agencies is so vital to ensure that we deliver a better form of governance.
Okay. So where can the viewers like find you, like reach out to you? Would that be on social media or would that be in person?
Yes. Well, I'm on social media platform. I'm on all of them.
Yeah.
I just joined Thread as well. We're going to see how that works. I see Facebook trying something.
With technology.
Let's see if the Thread thing works. If we can, put it through some needles and stitch up something. But but I'm on all of them. Twitter. It's Morland Wilson. my name, and there's no E, it's Morland, Wilson, Wilson. So I'm on
So it's the same
Facebook,
across all
Twitter,
platforms.
on all platforms.
Okay, perfect, man. It was really good speaking to you today.
Definitely.
It was
Yeah,
an
man.
amazing podcast
Respect, man.
episode.
Definitely.
You know, I'm going to have whole heap of, like how you're old, man. You know, that shows you're very confident. And
Cool, man.
But like that, cause you see when you hold somebody hand, like
Yeah.
if you hold it like soft,
Yeah.
it's
You don't have a firm grip.
you don't have a
know.
firm grip, meaning like, it's like you're not, I look at it as, you know, you're not as confident. You know, in yourself or whatever, but it's when it's like you hold my hand tight and I hold the hand back tight. That make me know, sir, I can believe in you. You know, that make me know, sir, I can believe in, and he's not just a talker. He's a man who gets stuff done. Right? So I'm looking forward to another podcast episode with you. You know, we're
man.
going to have another one.
We're
Right?
going to do it in Negril.
We're going to do it in Negril.
Yeah.
Negril is
On the beach.
on the beach. Because
Yeah.
Negril, here in my constituency, it supplies 1/3 of tourist income to Jamaica.
Yeah.
So of all the hotel rooms in Jamaica, we have 1/3 of them. So
Nice,
it is significant to our local tourist economy and industry. So
And Negril is very beautiful, though. I love what you guys do down there.
And your producer said she hasn't been there in a while, so
Yeah. We're going to make it happen.
she hasn't passed sentence. So you know, let's get there.
Yeah,
but the
man.
beach is good, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
love it, man. So we're going to make our way there. But thanks for being a part of the Billionaire Podcast. It was amazing for you to be here. We're going to talk about so much things off the pod. The viewers going to send me a lot of suggestions. So, guys, send me suggestions on different things that you want Morland to actually help you guys with. And then we can just make it happen and see what he can do from where he's at.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
remember they are from Westmoreland, Western.
Westmoreland,
the entire
Westmoreland.
country.
Not the entire country.
No, but,
I feel like you see when people start to say them stuff I get done,
Yeah.
people will just migrate go Westmoreland.
yeah. Well, yes. You know, once they are constituent, I'm here for all of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah,
All
man.
right,
So
so good
thanks for
stuff.
being on the podcast. It was amazing. All right.
All right, good.
Winners win.
All right, always.
Always.